Welcome to LECO Corporation's instructional video for changing filaments in the Pegasus HRT system. This video will walk you through the proper method of venting the system and the process of changing the filaments. When changing the filaments in the ion source, you will require the following items: a 9/64 hex driver, 5/64 hex driver, and stainless steel tweezers. These items come with the HRT in the component pack. Cool the source and transfer line by powering off the HV. This could take some time because typical temperatures are around 250 degrees centigrade. We must cool the source and transfer line to below 100 degrees centigrade to prevent burns. If you have a GC by GC system, cool the modulator and secondary oven through the modulator tab of diagnostics. After the transfer line and source have cooled, vent the source through the vacuum page. If you have a GC by GC system, you will have to uncoil the column from the secondary oven. Use care when uncoiling the secondary column because it could become brittle from heat. You may need to use a tool to gently remove the first loop. Slide the GC away from the mass spectrometer so the transfer line is completely exposed. Remove the source cover. Loosen the hex screws and slide the transfer line back. Remove the source control cables and then remove the source. When holding the source as it would be inside the instrument, Filament 1 is on the bottom, Filament 2 is on the top. Loosen the hex screws attaching the filament posts to the source. Be especially careful when removing the filaments so as not to damage the delicate ribbon in case it will be reused. It will not always be necessary to change both filaments. To replace the filaments, carefully position the filament legs in the terminal posts, then move the filament body into place over the positioning nipples in the source body. While gently keeping pressure downward to hold the filament in place, use the 5/64 hex wrench to gently tighten the hex screws. Do not over-tighten the hex screws. They could damage the posts. The EI source has 2 filaments. The CI source has only 1 filament. Visually inspect the completed source assembly. Make sure all the wires and contacts are secure. Make sure the filaments lay flat and are secure. Make sure the O-ring is clean before installing the source. Tighten the screws a little bit at a time, alternating across to make sure the O-ring is compressed flat. Attach the circular source connectors. Carefully slide the transfer line back into place and tighten the hex screws. Replace the source cover. Slide the GC back into position. Carefully coil the secondary column back into the secondary oven. Evacuate the source chamber. Make sure that the vacuum is at an appropriate level before powering up the high voltage. I like to power up with the commonly used leak check method. This video is intended to provide a step-by-step walkthrough of the process of changing the filaments on a LICO Pegasus HRT or HRT Plus mass spectrometer. For additional information, please consult the manual, visit the LICO website at www.lico.com, or call the LICO helpline at 888-LICO-911.